This is the last great wilderness of Australia, a remote region where humans haven't altered the natural landscape. These primal patterns have been worked by nature over millions of years. And being the flattest continent in the world, many parts of Queensland, such as these Shelburne Bay dune fields, can only really be appreciated by air. The Wuthathi people are the traditional owners of Shelburne Bay, and their cultural links remain strong. For thousands of years, the white sand country of Shelburne Bay dune fields has been their literal and spiritual home and a central feature of Wuthathi stories and cultural identity. Wuthathi people were seafarers who spent their lives in and out of outrigger canoes. They gathered food and other resources from the seas and the sand beach country. Wuthathi country encompasses the area from Captain Billy Landing south to Temple Bay, including Thinkamoo Islands, Rain Island and Cape Granville. Between the Barrier Reef and Cape Granville is a narrow channel dotted with the home islands, one of which is accessible by air, Hicks Island. On a low tide, the fringing reef of Hicks Island is visible, exposing this beautiful underwater garden consisting of over 400 types of coral, some of which are easy to identify, such as fan coral, star coral, staghorn coral, finger coral, lettuce coral, and this common brain coral. This seascape of Hicks Island supports an extraordinary biodiversity, including sponges, worms, crustaceans, and mollusks, not to mention over 1,500 different species of fish. This is why the Wuthathi people roamed this land for so long. They had a natural supermarket right on their doorstep. Although I'm not sure what traditional method or materials the Wuthathi people used to make their spears, these saplings look like a good choice. Their fine stems were both flexible and lightweight.
That's pretty much perfect. That's just what I'm after, and I'll put a tip on that and see if we can get some fish or some mud crabs.
After fixing a tip on the spear using a few nails and some boating rope, it was time to find a bite to eat. These mangrove trees are an important habitat for birds, mammals, crustaceans and fish by providing a breeding place and by giving protection. They also provide protection for me. With a thick dense root surrounding me, it makes it hard for a saltwater croc to take me by surprise.
Alrighty, I'm lighting a decent fire here just to sort of build up some coals. Another thing I'm using is coconuts on the fire. There's enough there for a good feast. Oh, bloody great.
This plane wreck is what's left of an AP-39 air cobra that was reported missing on the 25th of April 1942. During the war, a number of air cobras had to crash land around Cape York after becoming separated from a mother plane in bad weather. The trick is to get in the water, get your food as quickly as possible and get out.
And that there is a northern Queensland black-lipped oyster, and I think these are better than the Sydney rock oysters or the Pacific oysters you get down south. They're a little bit sweeter. A bit of lemon and black pepper would be good, but a nice cold beer to wash it down. But anyway, we'll just have it au naturel.
On the south of the island, a barren cove emerges from the mangrove forest. Stretching towards the edge of the reef lays an eroded wall of rock encrusted with oyster shells. It is believed that the wall wasn't created by the native Wuthathi people, but by the early white settlers who had established the coconut plantation on the island many years ago. Although their fate is unknown, I do know that this would have played a huge part in their survival. During the outgoing tide, schools of fish became trapped and would swim in the shallow water around the wall, presenting a perfect opportunity for spearfishing. I spent the next few days patching up the wall. I was really keen to see how effective this large fish trap was. So, on a sunny day with perfect visibility, I spent an hour during the outgoing tide waiting for the perfect opportunity. And eventually, a large school of trevally cruised straight towards me. With these large fish, it's important that you bleed them straight away. By simply cutting their throat with a knife, their gills will continue to work, pumping all the blood out of their system.
There we go, there's a few meals in that one for me. I'll take him back, clean him, and get him ready for lunch.
These tall palms are evidence of the existence of the white settlers who established this copra plantation on Hicks Island many years ago. Copra is a local South Pacific name for the dried section of the meaty inner lining of the coconut palm and is used primarily as a source of coconut oil.
Okay, I found myself a nice coconut. Best coconuts are the ones that aren't too green and aren't too brown, just in between, this sort of a gold and a yellow colour, and that way you won't get sick. The fun bit is getting the actual nut out of the husk.
This simple recipe I came up with made the most of the island's natural ingredients, and was a nice change from the oysters and mud crabs. It was just a matter of filleting the fish and placing on a large banana leaf. Then, roughly chopping up some lemongrass, which adds a great flavour to seafood. Throw in a handful of rice. Squeeze the juice of one lime on top. Then pouring over some coconut milk to steam the rice. Then carefully folding up the banana leaf and binding it all together with some palm fronds. Once the fire's burnt down to hot coals, you just place a few more banana leaves on top and some rocks to hold in the heat. Leave to cook for 30 minutes and you're left with coconut rice and steamed fish, and the taste is sensational. Survival during the wet season's heavy rain, constant storms and gale force winds for any islander would have been hard enough. But I was soon to find out how hard it was to find food with the lack of sunlight and poor visibility. The stonewall fish trap I'd become so dependent on had now been taken over by a large 12-foot croc.
For this rain, all I can seem to manage to get is a stingray, and the bastard broke my spear.